You're listening to the International Souls Podcast, solo sessions with me, Eryck. These episodes are where I share my experiences in my careers, traveling, fatherhood, coaching, and everything in between. The real story is about living with intention, moving with purpose, and staying open to what's next. Here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome to the International Souls Podcast. I'm your host, Eryck. I'm very, very excited to do this and to be here right now. This is episode number 1. And I want to share with you why I wanted to do this in the first place. This is a platform where I'm going to be inviting incredible guests from all over the world, from artists, entrepreneurs, creative, and founders, people who really excel in what they do, in their niche, expertise. I want to share not only their success and their stories, expert insight, but also what it took to become that person. What type of leap they had to take in order to leave behind the good to become great. What was that gray zone like? What was the calling? What was the intuition saying? I want to give you as much value as possible in this podcast. And I truly believe that all these conversations will be very, very empowering for all of us. A little bit about myself. I'm 33. I love to travel. I'm a father right now. I absolutely love being a father. My daughter's now 21 months, and we're actually traveling with her. Love of my life, Dominique. We've been together for 10 years now. My absolute soulmate. I'm very big on family. This is one of my biggest core value. Besides being a father, I'm very passionate, and throughout the past 15 years, I've been nourishing those passions. So let's start with health, fitness, then music, coaching, and modeling, fashion. Throughout the past 15 years of my travels, one of the most valuable moments was the conversation I had with all the incredible people. Creating a podcast for me was to create a platform and invite all those guests to have those conversations so that anyone who's ready to receive can receive all the valuable insights and knowledge. So this podcast will be about sharing those conversations. I will also be doing some solo sessions about sharing my personal experiences as a father, a coach, a model, a DJ, and a creator. I truly believe I'm living my best life right now, and it all came from taking action, leaving the good for the great, taking that leap of faith, and constantly just wanting to become a better person, better version of myself. I'm going to be sharing more about all those different aspects of my life, and hopefully it can add as much value in yours. So growing up, I've always been really close with my family, a lot of sports, friendship, and I was always very, very active. Started to train really young at like the age of 15. And in high school, I was playing in a basketball team, hockey team, football team, even figure skating at one point, swimming. So I was like skiing, always very into competitive sport. And that truly built the person I am today from a really young age. I decided to go to study business in college back in Montreal. And through my math class, I got scouted from a girl in my class who came up to me and just said, hey, have you ever thought of becoming a fashion model? Which was not really the plan, but I was really open to whatever, to receive whatever at that time, which I still am today. I went to the agency with my father and we signed a contract right away. And that was the beginning of a whole new journey for me. That was probably one of my biggest first leap of faith that I took. I even decided to stop going to college and pursue my modeling career completely after a few sessions. And this whole experience really brought a lot of perspective at a young age to become independent, to start traveling, to start understanding what it's like to travel in different countries. Also, like just missing my family so much and being away from home and the comfort. Like the first place in New York, I was literally sleeping on like a small mattress on the floor with some friends, just trying to make it, and that was not the initial idea I had of modeling, but it was a way I had to go through. And those moments built so much resilience. And I just kept on trusting. I just kept on believing on the opportunity, on believing in myself, that just keep going, keep pushing. And without quitting, it brought me to the next booking and the next country and the next agency that would represent me, to eventually book my first worldwide campaign, which I did over $40,000 in less than a week at age 21, and that was just for me a big catalyst in my career. Got flown to Tokyo for Uniqlo, They we were shooting the campaign, connected with all the team over there, and they brought me again to New York, and they brought me again to Tokyo for a second time. And all of that just started to happen from being in action, because the first 2 years was really hard. I was not making a lot of money. I was away a lot. I was missing a lot of school. Before I decided to drop out of college, I was missing a lot of school, and it didn't make much sense. But I just kept going, and I made a lot of friends to that process. So at age when I was 18, I decided to move to New York and started to do the fashion weeks and get out there. And it was such an experience, because I stayed in all these different places, like at the model apartment house, which was packed with other models from all over the world. So I was now having 10 people to share a house with, all in my group age, and different languages, different culture. So it was really rich, and getting to know all these different people, like rich in terms of experience, and determining like what's your role inside of a house full of men, and understanding the behind the scenes of the modeling game. I also started to do a lot of runways, so that was a great way to get in front of the biggest brands such as Hermes and Versace, Givenchy, Calvin Klein, and other brands like that. So traveling the world, starting to do more runways and campaigns. So now my career started to flourish. Meanwhile, I was nourishing my other passions, which is health, fitness coaching, and music. So this is something I've always been doing in the side of modeling, is really pursuing that health and wellness lifestyle. And I absolutely love music. So I decided to really push in terms of how can I bring my creativity and love for music and share it to the world. And that was through the channel of DJing. So I'll give you a bit more context. I started to DJ when I was 15 years old. One of my friends came with a DJ setup. I just started to DJ and absolutely love it. He actually gave it to me for a while for me to borrow. And I just practiced and practiced and practiced. I went to study in New York in a cool school called Dubspot. Learned music production and DJing over there for 6 months while I was modeling. And then I started to build the confidence to DJ in clubs. And that's when I started to have residencies in like W hotels and other clubs in New York and in Montreal. And now all of a sudden I was model by day and DJ by night. So combining two different passions, two different brands in one, which was a really fun experience. I started to DJ more like modeling after parties and like fashion show after parties. Fast forward, let's say, to when I'm 23, while I was DJing for a modeling after party, that's when I met Dominique, the love of my life, my soulmate. So I was actually DJing. It was a summer in 2015 in August, and I was DJing, and my sister invited Dominique to come over to the party. I was single, Dominique was single, and she just came in the DJ booth. I looked at her just to say hello, but instantly we had such like just a spark, that connection. And my whole goal that night was to make her dance and have the best night. Like, that's it. We only said hi. She was dancing on the other side, but I'm like, I'm gonna make you dance the whole night. And that's it. We didn't saw each other after that. However, fast forward then 2 weeks, and it was a farewell party at my cottage with all my best friend, my family, and I was about to leave for New York, and Dominique just came along. My sister invited her to come to the cottage, and the rest is history. That specific day, September 5th, 2015, everything changed for us. We connected so deep on that first night, and all our plans completely changed from there. And that was probably the second biggest leap of faith I took in my life, was to trust in her in a way, and in us. Even though it was so new, my intuition was just saying like, there's something that needs to be, there's something here that needs to be, there's just something here that needs to get to know of, like that needs to go a little deeper. So we both scratched our calendar for the rest of the year, and like, hey, let's go see where this relationship, what it is, and let's go explore it. So we decided to book flights for Bangkok and Thailand 2 weeks after. And on October 2nd, we were heading, both of us, after knowing each other for 1 month, we were heading for Thailand for 2.5 months to explore the world and to island hop and to just see where this relationship can bring us. So that leap of faith was, and that intuition of just scratching everything and just going deep on that relationship is by far the best decision I took of all my life, because Dominique is absolutely my best friend, my love, my now mother of Livia Rose as well. And yeah, I love you. I love you, Dominique. So the first few years of our relationship was not the easiest because we had to do 3.5 years of long distance. I was still pursuing my modeling career and DJing career. Dominic was pursuing her business career. So we did 3.5 years of long distance. It definitely tested a lot of our relationship. Lots of high, lots of lows, but the foundation was love and communication, confidence and respect, and freedom. So we kept on nourishing a relationship despite me being in New York or in Los Angeles. She was back in Montreal, and we would just meet halfway. We would travel together, and I would bring her in my life, I would go in hers. And remember, we were young, we're like early 20s, figuring our life out, her life out. But we always trusted that we were meant to be together, and no matter what, we would make it happen and we would make it work. And we've grown a lot through to that process. And eventually, throughout that 3.5 years, that's when I also started to have a calling to pursue my health and wellness career and my health and wellness coaching. And that's when I started to really have a calling of it was a calling. It was time for me to start coaching, and it started with fitness, which was so always really part of my life. But now I feel like it was time for me to start coaching, give back that knowledge, give back that expertise. So I started to study to become a certified personal trainer. I started to train a lot of people, and in my niche of models and actors, until I started to just build a template, create what it would like to be a personal trainer, what it means for me to be a personal trainer. That was back then, until I got an invitation to come in Montreal and to finally reunite with Dominique. Beautiful opportunity to become the health and fitness coach and director of this corporate company, and to come back with my family after traveling for so long. It was a really good moment, because that's where, or also the relationship with Dominique and I just started to really be like really building a strong foundation, because now we're actually living together. And if for those who are in couple, like once you start living with your partner, it's completely different versus living in separate houses. In our relationship got like still a bit of challenges, adjustment, but our love grew exponentially from there. Our foundation grew exponentially from there, and the trust that we had towards ourselves. So once Dominique and I decided, so now we're in early 2019. Dominique and I are living together, starting a new chapter in Montreal. That was another leap of faith that I took, just leaving behind. And I think it's important because, living back in Los Angeles, that city is incredible, but it's really hard. It's a really hard city to start having some type of success or making it, because everything just goes so fast. There's so much competition. Everything is very expensive, and it's just it can bring you in and spit you back out. So, but I was making my way through. I started with a roommate. I finally signed my first lease apartment, got rid of that one, started to make more money, and I was finally living one of my dream, which was to live right next to the beach in Marina del Rey, walking distance to the beach, going to the beach every day. As someone who come from Montreal, this is like, for me, that was a dream, to be in the sun. And I was finally living it. I built it through almost 2 years to finally get there, starting to have really good clients with modeling, DJing, but also coaching. And then I had a choice to make. Am I taking another leap of faith and going to somewhere else? Or am I staying in this comfort but growth? I had to take the decision. And again, I'm always empowering my intuition on each decision. The calling was to leave the good for the great and take the leap of faith again. So that's when I decided to move to Montreal. And it didn't make any sense on paper, but it was a great decision. So I'm very happy I did that. So after a few months, Dominic and I, we found a place together, and our business started to grow. That's when the other business called À l'Apéro was created. Dominic is the one who started with the whole concept and the idea, and I was there to help her and support her to the whole process. So we were, end of our 20s, starting to grind, starting to build businesses, started to we moved in a beautiful penthouse, so like really upgrading. We bought a brand new Tesla. Like we're starting to have these a bit like external validation in a way, in terms of comfort, in terms of transportation, getting nicer cars and clothes, and we thought that was the way to go, and we also thought that was the not the definition of success, but a way to embody it. But we soon realized that it wasn't. But I'm gonna come to that soon. That year was it was an amazing year, 2019 for us. The people that we started connecting with, and just always kind of be very open-hearted, open-minded. COVID happened. We don't need to go too deep in the COVID thing, but for us, it was very a lot of revelation happened throughout that time, and we decided to actually pack our bags. It was time to leave, and we've been in Montreal for about 2 years now. It was time to leave, right in the middle, like end of 2021, still in that COVID era. Dominic and I sold our car, sold all the stuff, got rid of the penthouse, got rid of so much everything, and left with about 4 suitcases. We decided to leave again to Los Angeles, leave the good for the great, take a leap of faith. Here we go again. And this time we wanted to go together. So before it was always separated. This time we just wanted to unite our forces. The whole intention was, how can we bring our forces together in an environment that is optimal for us? So LA was a natural decision for us. And we stayed there for about 6 to 7 months. I was, again, like the DJing was more on the side now. I was really focusing on modeling and coaching. I had a great clients that time. And a lot of great clients at that time. I had a gym in my backyard, living in Venice, having a really nice, again, driving a Tesla, having a great lifestyle, and playing football, just loving the life. Really, really grateful. Turned 30. Dominic and I are 1 month apart. We both turned 30. And we were driving up the PCH, which is one of the most beautiful highways in the United States, along the Pacific Highway coast in Malibu. And I looked at Dominic and I asked her, I still remember, ask her, is this it? Like, is this it? Are we doing it? Is this the life we want to do? Like the LA life, the fast life, the nice car, and the high ticket price life? And the answer was no. And we look at you like, no, this is not it. So we thought the success was going to be the nice loft, the car, the setup, the nice clothes, LA. That was not it. And we completely shifted our direction, and even our values that specific month, which was around February. My birthday is in February, so around February 2022. February 2022. That's when a lot of stuff shifted. And believe it or not, again, 7 months in LA, 6 months in LA, we decided to sell everything once again. Sell the gym, sell the car, get rid of everything, and we are moving to Nicaragua, out of all the places. Why? Nobody knows. It was just a place that was calling again for my intuition. Nicaragua was just like pounding at our doors, like, you have to go to Nicaragua. Okay. Made absolutely no sense on paper. And that was probably one of the biggest leap of faith that we've done in the last few years, because that's where a lot of our life completely changed for the better. So when we left, the intention was really clear. It was, well, the whole theme of the trip was less is more. We gave ourselves permission for a whole year, and we did set ourselves up to be in that position, which I will more than happy to share in another solo session. But we did set ourselves up financially and also mentally and emotionally to be able to take a full year off of any duties and big responsibilities, and just immerse yourself in a new culture, get rid of old belief that we've been lingering and just holding on for too long, shed a lot of layers of the North American way of living, and redefine our life, redefine what is success for us. And finally, we wanted to especially join forces, because when in LA, we didn't really join the forces. So that was the whole intention behind leaving that good for the great in Nicaragua in 2021. My mission with this podcast is to really empower you guys as much as possible through the conversation with my guests, to really give you the courage to leave the good for the great and to take that leap of faith, to leave behind the comfort zone and to really strive for greatness, to strive for what is meant for you and not what is working for you. And there's a big difference there. My hope is also to educate you and to give you as many tools as possible for you guys to apply right away in your life to become that best version of yourself. So by listening to all these amazing conversation and experiences, to inspire you as much as possible, to live your best life, to live with alignment with what's best for you, and to give you the tools necessary to take that leap of faith and go beyond and very pursue your best life. So for me, leaving the good for the great and taking a leap of faith it really means leaving the comfort zone behind and going in the unknown. So most of the time, each leap I took didn't make any sense on paper. It was all very led by the heart and led by my intuition. So by keeping your heart open and really your spirit just completely open to what's next, to all these different opportunities, I think that makes place to receive a calling, either a relationship, a business opportunity, or just changing your environment. And a leap of faith can be macro and micro. It can be simple change from going from your condo to moving out of town, or going from one country to another, or one relationship to another. There's different leap of faith. However, all these leap of faith will bring you to a next place in your life and give you so much growth because you're constantly moving, constantly adapting and changing environment that it just gives you space for growth. And then you'll look behind 10 years, 5 years, 2 years from now, and you'll be incredibly proud of you of going in that direction. I always trust that also the universe just really puts the people in place and realigns you. However, it really comes from the trust, that intuition, listening to it, and just going. Just trust that that's the right thing to do. So the intention behind the conversation I want to have here with my guests on this podcast is the conversation that I believe is missing in the world right now. It's really going behind the scene of the success, is going above and beyond of just the first surface of what you actually see either on social media or someone who is peaking in their career or in their life. There's a whole journey. There's a whole why behind that. And most of these people took a leap of faith in order to be in that position. And instead of just praising and like, oh, wow, look how incredible you are, I want to be able to deep dive and understand why they did it. I want to be having the conversation of what was the challenges, what type of identity they had to shift, what they left behind, what was the hardest part of going to that shift. So really deep diving in those zone and those harder times to become successful. And I don't think we talk about that enough. So I really hope through this conversation we're able to get to that information, and also for you guys to see how we're all humans. We're all built pretty much the same, from the same not fabric, but from the same we're all made from water, flesh, bone, muscles. We're not all different. We're very we have similar needs, similar core. We all need love. We all need food. We all need water. And to bring it back to the basics, that if they can do it, then you guys can do it. And this is really about what this podcast is about, to really empower you guys and to give yourself permission to succeed and to go on your own mission, on your own journey. So for the next episodes, we have a few CEOs, founders, and athletes that are going to be in the show. I think it's going to be great for you guys to tune in and really to have a listen. These guests are people who really inspires me in so many different ways, and I'm super excited to have this conversation. I think it's going to be a lot of value for you guys to see the process, see the growth. How can you spark an idea and really create a vision? What's the process? And obviously, what's the whole journey that started from zero to now? What was those leap of faith? Who helped them throughout that process? And yeah, so I'm very excited. Some of these guests I know, some of these guests I don't know really personally. So I'm very excited to also understand more about all of them. And as an expat and nomad, someone who loves to travel, I'll be creating these podcasts from pretty much all over the world and having conversation with people all over the globe, which is why we actually name our podcast and our business The International Souls, because we truly believe that we belong everywhere, not in one specific space, and we want to connect with those persons. So guys, this was episode number 1. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very, very grateful that you're here and stick along this ride. This is going to be a beautiful journey. Until next time. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to follow the show and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps us to grow and keep the conversation going. Thanks for listening.